My name is Syokau Mutonga and I am the Research and Inventory Manager at Book Bank Trust. Today I will be taking you on a tour of McMillan Library and its two branches in Eastlands. Nairobi, like other colonial cities of British East Africa, was built for colonial interests. The way the city was divided when it was established continues to be the same today, where the northern and western zones were reserved for white settlement, the southern zones of the city and part of the eastern zone reserved for Asians. And then, interestingly enough, the Africans, who were the workforce of the city, were only allowed to live in one area, which was in the eastern part of the city. The first library is McMillan Memorial Library, Eastlands branch. This library is centered in a very central place in Eastlands. So this library actually has the most footfall of all our libraries, and it averages 182 library users per day. It caters mostly to young adults, people between their late teen years all the way to early 30s. We have great plans for this library as Book Bank Trust. In addition to the books that we have here, we have also curated programming that speaks to the issues in this area. The second library is McMillan Memorial Library, Kaloleni branch. Kaloleni is my favorite library just because of the history that it holds. We are walking into an area that was built in 1948 by Italian prisoners of war. This neighborhood is unique because it was based off Sir Howard Ebenezer's Garden City concept, which basically was trying to rethink how cities and neighborhoods can be built in ways that are not cramped, in ways that create a particular type of person. This library here at Kaloleni is mostly for a children's audience, so we have found that many of the users who come here are quite young, until 12, maybe 15 years old, and many of them are actually brought here by their parents. And something else that's very interesting about Kaloleni is, outside of the beauty and uniqueness of the neighborhood, is the Social Hall, which holds a very important place in Kenya's history. This Social Hall in particular became a place where the fight for independence through trade unions was agitated for. So this place would hold 6,000 people at a time discussing about how they were going to agitate for the freedom of the country. We have now completed the first set of renovations for the Kaloleni Library, and the next step has been getting the books in the library that the users requested, and will be open to the public once COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. The final library is McMillan Memorial Library, main branch on Banda Street. This library was built in memory of Sir William Northrop Macmillan, who moved to Kenya with his wife in 1904. He was an American man who was very wealthy and moved here because he was looking for the dreams of the Wild West. Macmillan's love for lions went a bit deeper than most, and he hunted many lions when he lived here in Kenya on his farm in Juja and Eldonyo Sabuk. He is actually known to have kept a pet lion on his farm. And this is the main entrance of the library. The librarians sit on the right, and over here you can see Macmillan's bust and the two tusks that have lived in this library for years. We are now going to the children's area, and when children or library users are not in it, Book Bank holds their events there. I will now take you down to the basement, which is a bit musty and dark. This is where the administrative offices of the library are, so the chief librarian's office is inside there, and it's also where we store all the old newspapers and gazettes and county minutes and photographs. A few years ago, the library flooded and all these archives were moved to a room upstairs. I would like you to take notice of the 3 paintings of King's African Riflesmen. These paintings were all done by the same artist, William Coswell, but we noticed that one of them is bigger than all the others, meaning that this soldier had a higher rank than the other 2 soldiers. This reference room holds many first editions and paintings of Macmillan's family and friends. We have first editions of Roosevelt's Winning of the West. We also have paintings of Macmillan's parents, Carnegie. In 1931, when the library was opened, this room boasted the most expansive African collection on the continent. But one thing to note about it when it was opened was that there were almost no African authors in here. This room also contains many first editions. At the same time, it also contains books which are very racist in nature because of the time that they were written and how the people who wrote them considered African subjects. Here is an King's African Riflesman who was probably carved just after the First World War. He's quite old, he's seen life, he's broken in a few places, but we love to keep him here.